guys, and welcome back to another video, and today we're going to be taking a look at the Habitat Defender Triceratops. So let's jump into this review. It just came in the mail, so yeah. So first, we have this over here. Then we get to the Jurassic World logo. Habitat Defender Triceratops Dino Tracker. Jurassic World logo. Then we have the actual Triceratops on the back of the box. More information on it. Then on this side, again, more information, Dino Tracker logo. But let's get this figure out of the box. This thing I knew was going to be big, but like, it's still absolutely massive. Just seeing in person, since this is the first time I've seen it in person. Since this is a figure that is not sold in stores, unfortunately. So yeah, let's just get this thing out of the packaging. If I can pull this out for some reason. Oh, you have to cut these. There's not one at the bottom. Yeah, just give me a second to figure out how to get this thing out. Okay, so I was able to get that worked out. So we should be able to just slide it out now. Or something of the sorts. And no, it still doesn't want to come out. I still don't know how to get this out of the packaging, unfortunately. I'll just get back to you when this is out. Okay, I basically had to completely deconstruct the box to get this thing out, but I still got it out nonetheless. But yeah, let's just clip the tail in, which here is the tail, which we can just attach back here. Hopefully, just gotta clip that in and then twist it. So there we go. Here's our Triceratops so far, and it is absolutely beautiful how big this thing is. Let's take a closer look. So first, let's start with the head, which looks very nice, extremely detailed. In fact, this is basically the same model as the, actually, in fact, this whole entire figure is basically the same as the Hammond Collection Triceratops. The only difference is that it is, of course, much bigger and also has a little bit less articulation, but to be honest, the articulation that it does gain from, well, losing all the other articulation, I think is much better, and I'd rather have this than the, Hammond Collection one. But anyways, let's actually get back to looking at this. So, we have the head, which is very detailed, since this is, again, the same model as, like, the really good Triceratops. Then as we go down the body, very wrinkly, and you can see kind of the osteoderms on the back and leg. And they're nicely painted. Very nice detailing all the way down the tail. And some on the back of the neck. Then once we go to the stomach, also very nicely detailed, and I just realized now, the bottom of the feet are actually black, but it's because it's the same plastic that the toes are molded out of, which is nice that we actually have colored toenails. Then we get to just see how beautiful this thing is. But yeah, it has a lot of nice detailing. Then let's go into articulation, which the tail goes up, all the way down, up to there, and then down all the way to the ground, actually. And it also goes side to side, because it's on a ball joint. Then we have the leg, which goes about this far back, and this far forward. And it can actually stand on 3 legs, which is very good. Then as we go down the body, of course we have the arm, which goes back this far, and then goes forward. Oops, move the back leg forward accidentally, but the front leg can go very far forward. Up, all the way up to here, in fact. Then, of course, the head is on a nice ball joint, and it feels like a really good joint, so it articulates very nicely. Then we have the best articulation point on this, which is so much better that this has it. We got the Hammond Collection one didn't have jaw articulation, which if I can just open it, which is a little bit tight, but it actually can open its mouth, which is just a nice little pink tongue in there. But that's so good. I like how whenever everyone complained about the fact that the Hammond Collection Triceratops didn't have jaw articulation, but tell us, like, as soon as they released the Ankylosaurus, they were just like, in the Beyond the Gates video, they're literally just like, hey, look, we even gave it jaw articulation, because yes, everyone complained about it last time. So yeah, here you go, you have your jaw articulation. But good thing they released this figure. And this is also the first big Triceratops we ever got. And in fact, one of the only, honestly, the only new ones that we got is the Epic Evolution Triceratops. Is also big. It's not this big, but it's still big. And, well, we actually kind of got 2 different variations of that. Though this is still the best Triceratops we ever got and the biggest one. Now let's move on to the size comparison. Actually, wait, before we do that, I forgot to show this off. I want to do this before I forget. And But anyways, here's the scan code for you can actually scan this figure into your collection. But anyways, yeah, there goes that. Also, it doesn't actually have ball joints on the legs, so it can't move outwards, but they can go forwards and backwards, like I showed earlier. And now let's actually go on to the size comparison. So if I move it to there, this figure measures in at about 17 inches from tail to the tip of its horn, and to the top of the frill, it's about 7 inches, which makes this thing massive. Now let's actually compare it to a few things. So first, human figure and velociraptor, which of course this thing absolutely dwarfs them both. Next, let's compare it to Ruthless Rampage Allosaurus, which this pairs up with nicely, and it still is just absolutely massive compared to it. Next, let's compare this to the only other Triceratops I had into my collection up until I got this figure. This was the only Triceratops I ever had. I didn't even have the normal size one that Mattel was releasing. I got the tiny one. And thankfully I held out long enough not to get a Triceratops until this guy released. So, yeah, very happy with this one. Next, let's compare it to Pentaceratops, which was previously my largest ceratopsian that I owned, which, well, that's thrown out the window now because this Triceratops is absolutely massive. And now let's compare this to Hammond Collection Tyrannosaurus, which now we finally have a Triceratops that is worthy enough to go up against our Tyrannosaurus, which, honestly, it took Mattel way too long to make this. But I'm actually kind of happy they held out this long because, well, it got them to make the Hammond Collection, and, well, since they have the Hammond Collection, that's why the sculpt looks so good. But, yeah. And, yeah, pretty much all I gotta say is, buy this thing. Just buy it immediately. I don't know. Actually, I think it might be on sale right now. I know it was on sale when I purchased it for about $18. But the usual retail price is about $30. A little bit more than 30 actually, I think. Which, even that price tag, I'd say is worth it for this figure. But, yeah. I will see you guys in the next video. And goodbye, everybody.